Hey YouTube, so today I'm going to show you how to properly feed your bearded dragon. This video was requested to me by the YouTube channel Jack Farnan. He's made I think 3 or 4 really good videos on, bearded dragon care. I'm pretty sure that's what it's on. He just got a corn snake and he's getting a bearded dragon next week, and so I'm making this for him to explain to him how you would properly feed your bearded dragon from the day you get it to the day it dies. So if you're here and you have a question about, like how you might be able to feed them and stuff, definitely just stay here. And if I don't answer your questions, feel free to message me and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. It's a really wide topic, feeding bearded dragons, just because it's pretty opinionated, per se. Like, some people say lettuce, some people say bleh. I'm just going to give you my view and what's worked for me, and hopefully you agree with it, and if not, do your own thing, and good luck. So, basically, a newborn bearded dragon is going to be needing a lot of animal protein to grow. This animal protein can come in many forms for, a bearded dragon, but for babies, I feel that there's 2 really, really good ones because they don't have hard exoskeletons, and there are a lot of them. One of them is crickets. Crickets are pretty good. If you guys don't know what crickets are. Crickets are just good because they are just so plentiful. You can get them for cheap online, and you can get them in any different sizes, and it's good for them. And also you can leave them loose in the cage and not worry about them getting out. Another good one, a little bit less common but still just as good, would be dubia roaches. These right here. Here, I'll show you. Here would be an adult, right here. And then the babies, sorry I didn't mean to throw them in there. The babies would be, I just dropped them. See, like on my finger. So like a baby would be perfect for a baby bearded dragon because they're so tiny. And those are 2 pretty good food items that you can give them. Some people use mealworms for baby bearded dragons, but I feel like they're not ready for them yet because they're not very easily digested. And superworms that can be used for adult bearded dragons, I do not recommend for baby bearded dragons because they are pretty big. This is huge for a baby bearded dragon. I don't know how many of you who've seen one. They're about this big when they first hatch. So, 2 mealworms, and that would be the length of them. Superworms, I mean. And so basically, if you're going to be choosing to feed dubia roaches or crickets, make your choice. And you're going to want to be giving these to baby bearded dragons every single day because they're growing and they need the energy. And not just every day, twice a day, every day. And so it's a big commitment when you're getting a baby. That's definitely something to think about. And every day, since they're growing, you should be dusting their food, their insects, with calcium supplement. This one happens to be RepCal phosphorus free. You're going to want phosphorus 3 because phosphorus, if it's over the calcium ratio, it's not going to be helpful with the bearded dragon, and they're going to get metabolic bone disease. And so this supplement, RepCal phosphorus free calcium with vitamin D3, is really good for growing animals because it gives them everything they're going to need calcium-wise to not get metabolic bone disease. This is in addition to the UVB light. If you haven't seen my How to House a Bearded Dragon video, it is, I think it's like 4 videos down from this one. So definitely check that out. So you're going to want to be doing this every single day, every single feeding. Not every single feeding, 1 feeding a day since you're going to be feeding them twice. So every day at least. And then twice a week for baby bearded dragons, you're going to want to use a multivitamin. This will give them all the vitamins you're not going to be giving them or they're not going to be getting from their vegetables. And so, since 70% of their diet is going to be, get off there, is going to be animal matter, you're going to want to fill the rest up with plant matter. This is a pretty whatchamacallit, debatable subject, but I do not support lettuce to feed bearded dragons. It's not helpful. It's just water, and it's not good. And so I feed my bearded dragons a variety of greens. I try to feed the following greens, you know, maybe once or twice a month each. Basically, I'm going to put a link down in the description, and it's going to give you a table of everything your bearded dragon can eat and how often it can eat it, because it's going to be impossible for me to state everything. But, 5 really, really good staples. My 5 really good staples for your bearded dragon would be collard greens, mustard greens, alfalfa, escarole, and watercress would be the 5 best ones because they're highest in calcium and they're just, bearded dragons like them. And so right here, this is watercress. You're going to want to chop this up finely and put it in a dish for a baby bearded dragon, and if they don't eat it, don't worry. And you can top that with really any of the things that are on that chart down there. I'm using green beans this week, I'm using pepper, I'm using carrot, but I'm not going to get into that stuff because the chart gives you everything. And so, you know, your bearded dragon's growing up, and you notice he's about 14 inches long, and he's starting to eat a little bit more of his greens. Well, this is the subadult phase, where they're going to be eating 50% animal matter, 50% plant matter. And so you're going to want to cut down on how many bugs you're going to be giving them. You can cut down to feeding bugs once a day and feeding vegetables once a day. And so in the morning you can give them their vegetables, in the afternoon give them their crickets. And, you know, that way if they're hungry in the morning, they're going to eat the vegetables. Because bearded dragons can sometimes be a little bit picky and sometimes favor bugs over vegetables, which is a problem when they reach adulthood. And so, you're going to want to still have crickets and dubia roaches. But if they're 14 inches long, you can start introducing these superworms. And you can start introducing a few of the mealworms, not too many. And of course, you're going to want to be dusting them every other feeding with calcium if they're a subadult. And you're going to want to be dusting this once a week. So, you know, just to put it into perspective. And, you know, same thing goes with the vegetables. Same 5 really good ones. Just make sure that they're eating it and make sure that they're really starting to notice it in their enclosure. That's why I really support putting support putting greens in the bearded dragon's enclosure, like when it's a baby, even though it doesn't need it, just because it gets used to it and starts to associate it with food. And so now your bearded dragon is, you know, 17, 20 inches long, somewhere around there. And, you know, you can tell, getting big, almost fully grown. And this is the adult phase where, you know, they're really going to be eating 70% plant matter and 30% animal matter. And so the majority of their diet should be the greens and the, you know, the peppers and, not the peppers, just like the toppings and everything like that. And only 30% should be the dubia roaches, you know, everything like that. And the way to do this is you're going to want to just gradually do it. You don't want to be like, oh, you're an adult now and shock them. You know, just gradually start giving them less. And so you can feed bugs for adults 3 times a week, and you can feed greens every day, preferably. But if you don't like that, you can feed greens every other day. And so for calcium and some vitamins, you should be giving calcium to adult bearded dragons at least 3 times a week, and multivitamins once a week for adults. And then senior bearded dragons who are huge, they're old, they're, you know, you can tell they just look old, they're probably around 10 years old, really should not be getting that much animal protein. They should be getting at least 90% greens and 10% animal or plant animal matter, because they really don't need that protein to grow anymore. They don't need the protein, they're just going to end up getting gout from it. And so a senior bearded dragon really shouldn't be getting much dubia roaches or superworms or crickets or mealworms. You can cut down to feeding dubia roaches and, you know, everything else like that probably once or twice a week. And greens should be still every day. And the calcium you could do once a week, and the multivitamins you could do twice a week, just because multivitamins are what's going to keep them going. And yeah, that's basically how you'd feed a bearded dragon from the beginning of its life to the end of its life. If I answered your questions, that's great. I hope I did. That's basically what I did for my... Well, I've had 5, but 2 of them have passed away, sadly, due to reasons that I adopted them and they didn't come to me healthy. And yeah, but they all had pretty good lives. And yeah, so that's it. And stay tuned, because I might have another snake who's living right there. I'm not going to tell you who it is. She's right there. I'm not going to tell you who or what it is, but stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed this video, comment, rate, subscribe, and sorry it's so long, but it's a lot of information. And have a nice night, everybody.